So DC fans are planning to sue Warner Bros. For featuring Henry Cavill in the Black Adam end credit scene, despite the production company knowing they weren't going to have the actor return. Do they have a point? Uh, so there's this entire fucking article saying DC, some fans are gonna sue Warner Bros. This was sent to me on Twitter by a friend of mine, and I. This sounds so stupid. Look, I love Zack Snyder's movies. I love Cavill's. Cavill's my favorite Superman. I really enjoyed Black Adam. I had a lot of fun with Black Adam. And the post credit scene, I still love the post credit scene because it did bring Cavill back, which is something I loved, and it did sadden me when we heard Cavill wasn't coming back. It did sadden me when Gunn said there was gonna be a soft reboot, but because I feel like DC has not had any actual real leadership in the last however many years since 2017, to me it was a glimmer of hope. It was almost like the light was brought to us because I genuinely don't think DC has had any leadership or any proper leader with any balls for the last many years. Hamada did nothing. Toby Emmerich did nothing. And I feel like now Gunn's stepping in. He's finally doing things. And I feel like he's finally leading DC to the right direction. I love Zack Snyder, but I think we need a new direction because we haven't had Zack since 2017. We had the Snyder Cut. That's about it. And I love the Snyder Cut. To me, the Snyder Cut is still the best DC movie to me personally of all time, better than the Dark Knight movies and all that. I don't care what anyone says. I just love Zack Snyder's Justice League, same thing with BVS, Man of Steel, whatever. But anyways, Henry Cavill is widely regarded as one of the most talented actors of his generation. No, he's not. I can already tell. This whoever wrote this is a major Snyder fan, which is all cool. Let's not deny. Even if you're a Snyder fan, you can't say he is one of the most talented actors of this generation. There's a lot far more better actors out there. And yeah, I did love him in Man of Steel. I've yet to see The Witcher, but he's yet to be seen as a generational actor, right? Having impressed audiences with his captive performances, he is especially beloved by the fans of the DC universe who are thrilled to see him portray iconic character of Superman on the big screen. However, recent events have left many DC fans feeling frustrated and disappointed as they believe that Warner Bros. Has not treated Cavill with the respect he deserves. In particular, fans are upset about the recent Black Adam end credit scene, which featured a brief cameo by Cavill as Superman. While some fans were thrilled to see Cavill don the cape once again, others were outraged that Warner Bros. Would use his image in this way, despite knowing that he would have not been returning to the role anytime soon. As a result, many fans have called for legal action to be taken against the studio. Now, before we get into this, I do want to clarify what essentially this article is kind of saying. So it was revealed by James Gunn himself a couple of day, or I think it was like a week or so ago. It was announced that he had been working on Superman Legacy for 6 months. Now, from my assumption, and I'm only going based off an assumption. This isn't by anyone. This is just a theory. From what it sounds like, because remember, DC when they got into the gun business, when they went to go get James Gunn, they did everything possible. They gave him whatever he wanted, whether it was Green Lantern, Superman, but he chose the Suicide Squad, and it's obvious that they really want to be in the gun filmmaking business, right? So here's what I assume happened. I assume, they told Gunn, hey, you can do this movie. He chose Suicide Squad. And after making the Suicide Squad, he had things that he wanted to do. And this was after filming. I assume he was like, hey, I want to go more into Peacemaker's story. Let's do a Peacemaker show. Oh, I want to expand with Waller. Let's do it with Waller. And the assumption, I feel like what was going to happen initially was he was going to focus solely based on the Suicide Squad stuff. Like everything surrounding the Suicide Squad was going to go down to Gunn. He was going to build up this mini story arc. I even feel like some things that were announced in the slate were some things that he was going to plant, like Creature Commandos. I feel like we were always going to get Creature Commandos. And those kinds of things, that's what the plan was. Now, Zaslav and Warner Bros. Discovery, when they came in, one of their main priorities was DC. So they had that long time period where we didn't know who's going to be the new leader. We didn't know what DC's future was going to be. But there was like a few announcements. Like there was Joker 2 was announced. Constantine was announced. And it was kind of DC in this time period was in kind of limbo. But what I assume happened there is they loved the Suicide Squad. They saw that Gunn is a major talent that needs to be kept on. And I feel one thing they really wanted Gunn to do was a Superman film, because Zaslav from the beginning has said that he wants to really, really, really prioritize Superman and Batman, especially Superman, who's not had a own live action movie since 2013. It's already a decade. The fuck, man. But and I feel like that's essentially, they were like, hey, we haven't had Superman for a while. We don't know what our DC universe is going to be. Gunn, we want you to write this film, Superman Legacy. And that's what I assume happened. That's my assumption. And remember, at this time, it wasn't known what was going to happen 6 months prior. So then they go, because for this time period, not knowing who they wanted to be the leader, because it was said by reports that the way Gunn and Safran got to the position they are was they went to the studio, they pitched their idea of what DC should become, and they liked that pitch so much that they went with it. That now they are now the co-CEOs of DC. But prior to that, I do think that Gunn was writing a Superman legacy film. Just that Zaslav at the time didn't know what the plan was going to be, whether it was going to be a reboot, whether it was going to continue the DCEU in a little weird, funky way. I think that's what happened. I don't think... And then what I think happened, and I do think Zaslav is at fault for this. What happened was Zaslav... Dwayne Johnson, of course, we know that Dwayne Johnson was demanding that he wanted Cavill in the film. He really, really was saying, hey, we need Cavill, no headless cameo, nothing. I assume... Because you have to remember, Dwayne Johnson is one of, if not the biggest movie star in the planet. And so I do believe Zaslav went into Black Adam thinking this movie is going to make a lot of money. And if it makes a lot, they're going to bank on it being a leading part of the future of DC. And part of that was to allow Dwayne Johnson to get this cameo. And if the movie's successful, that cameo will lead into future projects. Now, Black Adam flops. And I do think they had been talking to Gunn. And I believe what happened was Black Adam's flop, while it wasn't the reason, I do think it played a part into Zaza being like, look, the DCU isn't working anymore. Gunn is a major creative force. We need to keep him on the DC family. He's already working on a Superman film. Let's have him become the co-CEO of DC, along with Peter Safran, who's into the financial aspect and all that. That's what I assume happened. Just a theory. I'm just going to assume that's what happened. I don't think it was them not knowing. I think it was kind of like having these backup ideas where they were going to let Gunn do a Superman thing, and then they were going to try building the DCEU, and they thought part of it was banking on Black Adam's success. Right? When in reality, they should have just made Black Adam better. I mean, am I right? All right, anyways. I like Black Adam, by the way. I really enjoyed the film. This is not the first time that a film studio has faced legal action over the use of misleading advertising. Last year, a judge in California allowed parts of a lawsuit accusing Universal of false advertising to proceed, ruling that a film constitutes commercial speech and is not entitled to broad protection under the First Amendment. The ruling set an important precedent for future cases, making it clear that film studios can be held accountable for misleading audiences about their content. Now, this article already... Sorry, I don't mean to be that guy. But it's kind of obvious whoever is writing this article is a major, major Zack Snyder fan. And that they're all in belief in sell Zack Snyder's Justice League to Netflix, restoring it, and all that. And I want to see it restored, and I want to see it be sold to Netflix. Just that it is obvious this article is not in the middle. Like, I hate when I see articles that are like one-sided and all that. But I mean, you can already see here on the sides. You can tell. You can already tell that this is a Snyder fan. But I'm actually going to explain why this isn't actually clear, this paragraph right here. All right, so here's some tweets. Freddie says this is the kind of admission that leads to a massive lawsuit, and Henry Cavill should sue Warner Bros. Discovery. Wait, what? Why Cavill? Is it a DC fan or a Cavill? Fuck. Accidentally clicked on a link. Yeah, here's a tweet from February 23rd, and he was talking about how he was hired to write Superman Legacy, and he was, and again, if you remember, when I think the first Monday Black Adam came out, um, the DC released this official video of Cavill saying, "Hey guys, I'm back," which I do think was pretty BS on their part. But let's see, the studio used him and us. It's time for a lawsuit. The studio used him as hope we have lawyers in our fandom. Don't think Cavill will sue Warner Bros. Discovery even though he has the evidence. Hope some lawyers can advise. Well, it depends what it was, right? It depends exactly what Cavill has on them, because what's gonna if let's say Cavill does sue Warner Bros. Discovery, let's say he does, he will need to go based on a contract that, because remember, a lot of these superhero actors, whether it's Marvel, DC, they sign contracts that are for like 5, 6, 8, 10 movies. However, that's not a contract saying they must make these movies. Those are usually contracts that say if the studio wants to make these other movies, then you must be a part of that, right? Let's say here on this channel, let's say I hire this one guy. Let's name him David. I don't know. So let's say I hire David and I tell him, hey, I want you to make 5 videos for me, right? And I pay him, I give him a contract. Now the contract is going to pay you for each and every individual project that you do. Let's say that first video, I pay him $200, right? I pay him $200. Now the contract is going to say, I want you to make 5 videos. However, that is by my choice, right? He has no say in it. The only thing he has a say in is arguing what the contract should be, how much money he should make. So let's say after the 3rd video, I'm like, hey, David, you did a good job. I just don't need you anymore. I paid him for every individual video that he's made. So 200, 200, 200, that's a deal. He can't do anything about those 2 remaining videos. Because on the contract, and usually it's going to be like this for every other superhero project, on the contract, it's not going to say you must make it. The contract's just going to say, if I want you to make these videos, then you must do it. But that is based on my choice. The same applies with Cavill or any of these other superhero characters. At the end of the day, you only do these projects if the studio wants to. I guarantee you that Ryan Reynolds, when he signed a contract for Green Lantern, it had said, we want you to make 2, 3, 4, however many movies the contract said. But they didn't do it because that was their choice. They decided, hey, Green Lantern's not working. We're going to move on forward with something else. Ryan Reynolds is not entitled to suing because that contract specifically states that the studio makes that decision and that the actor only goes there if the studio wants them. And I assume in this new contract that Cavill had with DC, it said, hey, you come back for Black Adam. You come back for Black Adam. Although, wait, I don't remember exactly what the details were of his previous contract, but they were like, hey, I assume what happened was during the time for a few months before Black Adam came out, they were like, hey, we want to make this new contract. We want you back in DC. So here's this contract. You're going to come back for this post-credit scene for Black Adam. And we'll set you for, like, let's say 5 movies. Yes, the studio could have told him, hey, we want you back. We think we should go with your Superman for the future movies. But if that contract says it was optional, Cavill has nothing. Even if they told him they want him back, that means nothing. It means nothing. Cavill has nothing to sue Warner Bros. Discovery. Nothing at all. Unless there's this super secret clause in his contract that says, oh, you must make these movies. You must. But I doubt any studio would be stupid enough to do that, especially Zaslav, who's big on money saving. I doubt Zaslav is that stupid that he's willing to put something like that in a contract. So I just don't believe. Cavill has no basis. I love Cavill, and Cavill would probably never do this because Cavill's smart enough not to. But he has nothing. He has nothing, even if they told him to announce it, right? At the end of the day, if the contract says those movies were optional, then those movies were optional. It's not on Cavill. I don't know what to tell you, man. But anyways, now it seems that DC fans are looking to take advantage of this legal precedent and hold Warner Bros. Accountable for their action. According to reports, a group of fans are planning to sue the studio over the use of Cavill's image in the Black Adam end credit scene, arguing that it constitutes false advertising and misleads audiences about the actor's involvement in the film. Nope, right here, if this, I doubt this is going to go to court, but if it does, you have nothing. You have nothing to win this case. And as much as I would love to see Cavill in the future, and even Dwayne Johnson as Black Adam, you have nothing that would get you to win that case. But let me read this last paragraph. While it remains to be seen whether the lawsuit will be successful, it is clear that DC fans are passionate about their treatments of their favorite characters and actors. For many fans, Cavill is a definitive Superman, and they feel that Warner Bros. Has not done enough to support him in the role. Whether or not legal action is taken, it is clear that fans will continue to voice their opinions and demand better from the studios and producer favorite from. Now, here's what I'm going to clarify. If you didn't like that DC didn't get Cavill back, if you're mad that Cavill's not coming back, and you're mad that the post-credit scene essentially felt like a kick in the face to you, that is okay. That's all right. That is your mind. But if you think you have any if you really think you're gonna win a case about this, then you're fucked up. You're fucking wrong. And I'm about to explain. So there was a previous case, right? There was this previous case with Anna de Armas. It was this movie. What was the movie's name? I don't remember, but. So in the trailers for the movie, they showed Anna de Armas, right? In the trailers. But in the movie, that's a deleted scene. They even released the deleted scene like a year ago. But in the movie, there was no deleted scene. So there's these guys who, I think it was on Amazon Video, decided to rent the movie because Anna de Armas was in the trailer. Now, hence, this was way after the theatrical release. This was way after everything. Right, this was now when it's on a streaming service. So this is after the fact, and yet they still kept playing the trailer where Anna de Armas was in it. Right. So the brothers watch the film. She's not in it. They're frustrated. They sue the court, and I think they won $5 million. And now the reason why the court sided with these guys was it was false advertising. In this trailer, you promised, hey, if you come watch our movie, Anna de Armas is in it. But the movie didn't have it, so that was false advertising. Now, the difference between this, between the Anna de Armas stuff and this Cavill stuff, is the movie never marketed that Superman's going to be here in the future. Look at all the trailers. They never showed Superman. Never. Not once. Right? Or at least not Cavill as Superman. Never in all the trailers and all the commercials, no Superman. Right? Now, yes, you heard Dwayne Johnson talk about Superman. You heard Dwayne Johnson constantly bringing up Superman, saying he wants a future with Superman and Black Adam fighting. You heard that, right? But the post-credit scene, now let's judge the post-credit scene as its own. The movie was not marketing the post-credit scene. An actor can say whatever the fuck they want. That is not part of the actual advertising. The main advertising are the trailers and commercials. Those are the main. Right? And also, you have to remember, Dwayne Johnson was just saying that he was going to try to have this Cavill, Black Adam, all stuff going on, sorted out. Right? He just said he was going to try. He didn't say this will for sure happen. We're going to get sequels or anything. But the post-credit scene doesn't even tell you they're going to meet in the future. The post-credit scene is Superman coming from the smoke and saying, Black Adam, we need to talk. There's no... the court would rule it out based on misinterpretation. Right? Because the difference with the Anna de Armas thing and the Cavill stuff is you did get Cavill in this one project. But that post-credit scene, you can easily argue that was just a scene in a movie. It's no different than having some random Joe in the background, right? And so you have no legal precedence, right? Because let's say the only way you would is if the trailers for Black Adam showed Cavill, and then the movie comes out and you don't see Cavill. That would be the only way. Realistically, that would be the only way. Because what are you going to argue in court? Oh, there should be sequels. No. No, you can't bully a studio into making a sequel. I would love to, but how are you going to argue that in court? And a court of law will make fun of you if you genuinely think that all you're going to argue is to make a sequel. The movie itself does not mislead you. You do get Cavill. You get him at the end. And even then, the marketing, the trailers, the commercials never showed you Superman. They hid that. Right? You have no legal presence. I love Snyder. I love Zack Snyder's movies. And I love a lot of the people I've met in the fandom. But you have nothing. You have quite literally nothing. Cavill's not going to sue because he's not dumb enough. Right? And also he has no legal precedence that can actually get him to win a case against Warner Bros. Discovery. And number 3, even though the fans sue, what are you going to argue? What are you going to argue? You're going to argue that there should have been a sequel. No movie's entitled to make you a sequel. The only way that you could win this case in a 1% chance, and this 1% chance is probably maybe Dwayne Johnson's comments. But even then, the comments usually aren't really a main part of the marketing. You can always have that as interpretation. That's what the court will argue. It will be interpretation. Right? But I just find this so ridiculously stupid. This is so stupid. The thing is, a lot of these people need to go get jobs. I don't care what anyone says. I know that sounds mean. Go get a job. Go to school. Do something. Focusing on this for so long is just not going to do anything. It's only going to hurt your mental health. But the unfortunate thing is nowadays you're seeing a lot of 40-year-old, 30-year-old men with no jobs, no lives, or they probably do have a job. But because they don't have any friends, because they have nothing to do outside their work life, they focus on the internet because it's so easy to use the internet and to have almost what you call a second life. I've seen this from mass to men here on the platform. You like playing this double life. Guess what? In the real world, you just be fucking laughed at. A lawyer will tell you that you have a case because every lawyer, all they want is a case. They want to make money. Of course, the lawyer's going to tell you that. But if you're getting any legal, like if you're actually trying to ask somebody, hey, would this work? Every lawyer, if lawyers were telling you the truth, they told you that you have no case. You have not a single bit of a case. None at all. Not a single one. Because what are you going to argue? Oh, we should have done a sequel to a movie. The fuck? None of the trailers and commercials said, oh, Black Adam 2. If you watch this movie, Black Adam 2. No, the trailers were like, hey, here's Black Adam. You want to come watch the Justice Society and Black Adam fight? Come watch our movie. That was it. That was fucking it. It is crazy. Now, the weird thing is, before reading this article, before reading the giant freaking robot tweet, I thought it was actually a certain DC fan actually trying to sue Warner Bros. Apparently, it's only an attempt. Apparently, it's right now just people saying, we want to sue. But I'll just say this right now. If you're planning on suing, save your money. Do something else. There's a life to live. Go save that money. Use it to buy a house. Use it to save up on a new car. Use it for something else, man. Because this is so stupid. This is so... I don't know, man. That's just my thoughts. Anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. Hope you all enjoyed it. I do apologize for not uploading in the last couple of days. I've been very busy. And not only that, but I kind of got demotivated from YouTube after what happened this weekend. But anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. Hope you all enjoyed it. And I'll see y'all. And of course, you guys let us know in the comments below. Anyways, I'll see y'all the next time. Ciao.
Where do you go to? Where do you go? Where do you go to? I wanna know. How do you do it? That thing you do. Follow you blindly, I'll be your fool. Cinderella, yeah. I think I'll find your glass slipper, baby.